they're able to execute really well. That's something that Hammers has played before. Either a lane glaive, and then they'll do a Baptiste captain usually, or even Baptiste jungle. So I think Tempo, if they did their homework, will probably ban away the Baptiste and not give them this composition. That's a lot of CC with the Afterburn and Ordain combo.
Yeah, it's definitely, you can find a big stun chain, but we'll see where the bans are going to go. This is kind of going to be most interesting to me. Is the glaive going to go into the jungle? Is it going to go into the lane? It could even be flexed as a captain, although that's not very likely anymore. And so it's a strong first pick for Hammers just because it's going to keep Tempo Storm guessing throughout the rest of this draft.
Kestrel is going to be the ban away there from Hammers, not wanting that to go into the hands of Hyde. I can't say I'm surprised.
So Tempo did not do their homework. They should have banned Baptiste there, but Baron and Lyra are pretty good. However, Baptiste Glaive is a counter into the Lyra compositions normally with the Samuel, because you can lock someone down, even the Lyra, honestly, and destroy them. So let's see if that's going to play out and how it's going to work.
Well, Koshka going to round this one out. That was a very quick draft coming on through there. So how are we feeling about these compositions then? Very aggressive comp coming out from Hammers here. A lot of melee, a lot of damage.
Yeah, rounding out this draft pretty quickly. A lot of melee, a lot of damage, and the problem is, if you have a lot of melee, up against the Baron, you're grouping up for a Baron to just blow you up. Obviously, they were able to, sort of deal with it. They won, so I guess they dealt with it. But it was not because they were able to work around the Baron that they were able to pick up the win. So there's a lot of risk involved with this Hammers composition.
How are you feeling about these compositions, Suijay?
If Hammers wins the early game and snowballs and gets their combos off, stuns, etc., then they're definitely going to take this game away because they have to snowball against the Samuel, Lyra, and Baron. But late game, Tempo's going to win because their comp is so strong late game.
Yeah, they've kind of got that Lyra, Samuel sustain that we're so used to seeing, as well as a Baron. They're ticking a lot of the boxes right there from what we were talking about earlier. But definitely, a lot of aggression can come out. Obviously, Koshka, something that we've seen run away with games 1,000 times before. So a lot is going to be down to how this early game plays out. We want to know who you guys at home are going to be supporting going on into this one. I personally definitely want a game 3 for this one after how game number 1 went. Let us know whether you do too using that hashtag Vainglory8. But without further ado, let's get this semi-final underway. Once again, Hollywood Hammers going up against Tempo Storm game number 2.
Hashtag Vainglory8. Make it happen, people. Get out there and use your social media. Let your voices be heard. Get on stream. Have some fun with it. Tempo Storm up against Hammers here. I think this is a very fun draft to nominate, and I'm excited to see what Hammers can do here with both the Koshka and the Glaive.
Yeah, it ought to be incredibly exciting. The clear win potential for Tempo, make it to the late game. That's all you really have to do. Hammers has a triple melee composition into both a Baron and a Samuel and a Lyra. So if Tempo can make it to the late game, they definitely have a huge opportunity to take game 2 here. This is going to be all about Hammers capitalizing on the early game and really trying to make sure that Samuel and Baron never get a chance to come online.
I mean, you talk about capitalizing on the early game. What do they have to achieve in the early game for that statement to be true?
Essentially what has to happen for the fight to go Hammers' way, they have to get a good afterburn singling one of the carries out from Tempo. The Ordain has to come down to keep that carry in a single position, and that's going to give Koshka the ability to just literally roll over somebody. But if Baron and Samuel are allowed to come online, there is a lot of splash potential here for the side of Tempo that can be incredibly scary going into the mid-game. First blood going on over to Archaic.
Yeah, it's a nice kill there early on. A lot of damage coming out. Hyde trying to kite backwards. He's going the wrong way, though. And he'll go down. A double kill for Archaic. And that is not what you want on a Koshka here early on. This should be pretty good for him. Put him in a great position. He looked like he wanted to start the fronts, but then moves up towards the lane. I'm curious what they're actually going to achieve here, because Archaic's on low health. I don't know. If you want to try and dive under that turret, it'd be pretty sketchy.
Yeah, they're just going to look to clean out some farm here. That does look like Archaic does get it. He indeed does. The Drifting Dark not coming out quite quick enough for Hyde to rotate on over. That's going to be Hammers taking about a 900 gold lead here. And Afro and Starting are really starting to push Gatsby underneath this turret here. That's already a farm now missed here in the early game. And Starting able to heal himself up pretty well with the Book of Eulogies and a couple potions. Big Invade coming in here in the jungle, though.
Yeah, down in the jungle, a lot of pressure. Archaic, he can get work done, but not when he's 2 versus 1 caught out in the jungle. He'll go down, and that's a nice kill going the way of Tempo Storm. Hyde and Lost Boy, there's nothing really else for them to take except for maybe the fronts. They'll get over to the Elder Treant and try to get that gold up. It means Playboy Afro is going to hang out in the lane with Starting for the time being. But yeah, I mean, they have a small net worth lead. It's not a big deal, and it doesn't feel like there's momentum really going their way. They're going to have to really keep the pedal down to the metal.
Yeah, and you know, realistically for Hammers, maybe a little bit of a miscommunication there, because Playboy Afro was pushed all the way up into the lane there on the enemy side. Actually, Toph looking like he's dropping.
Yeah, Lost Boy, you're in a bad place. Lost Boy's down. Now Archaic with that move speed moving in. Playboy Afro not in the front side, so Hyde able to connect with some Atlas and Verdict there, and once he loses a little bit of HP, Archaic's just out of there. He's like, yeah, I'm fast, yeah, I've got a bunch of damage, but I'm not really trying to trade once I'm sitting on low health. Starting took that time to push the wave up so he can go ahead and port home, buy some items, and get back out on the map.
Yeah, and he's looking like he might be building into that Sorrowblade first item. This is something we don't see too many heroes do. We see that Poison Shift come out a lot, especially into the Lyra. Glaive, with the basic attack reset on his Twisted Stroke, can really abuse the damage that the Sorrowblade has in the early game and really be a heavy burst hero with just one item. And again, Koshka as well, going to be building into that Aftershock, very burst heavy. That's really what they're looking to do to close out the game early. Looks like we got an invade down here you missed.
A soft invade happening. You know, we actually do see Twisted Stroke leveled up over the Afterburn. Sometimes when we'll see that weapon build come out of the Glaive, he's not. He wants to put points into Afterburn. Just get that cooldown, I'm assuming, just so they have us disables all the time.
Yeah, it's definitely something with a triple melee composition specifically that Afterburn needs to be up as frequently as possible. Toph gets punted in.
Yeah, punted in and chopped down right there. They have all the CC to follow up with the Ordained right there. Archaic only level 4. It doesn't have that ult, but has the burst damage to follow. So Hammer's doing a good job. Starting is low though. Hides here with the Drifting Dark. Malice and Verdict moving forward, connecting. Playboy Afro eating a bunch. Uses boots to get out of here. Starting. He's very slow. Afterburn's back in though. He stuns up Hyde. They turn around. They find the kill. Gaspy jump jets backwards. And Archaic, he looks to chase with that move speed, but Gaspy able to get just far back enough close to his turret to dissuade Archaic from continuing the chase. So that's Gaspy's boots on cooldown though. 140-second cooldown there.
Yeah, but despite a 5-kill lead for Hammers, it's only about 1,000 gold. Starting looking to find Gaspy, doesn't quite find it though.
Starting sitting very low at this point. I'm kind of surprised. Yeah, I was gonna say I'm surprised he's not gonna port back, heal up, and then get back out on the map, and that's pretty much exactly what he does. Aftershock picked up for Archaic here, so that's a nice power spike for him.
Yeah, I'm actually kind of surprised Archaic didn't go into a little more crystal power before going into that Aftershock. We see a lot of the North American Koshkas really prioritize getting that Heavy Prism and Eclipse Prism and then go into the Aftershock. It just gives you so much aggressive invade in the early game just because of Koshka's ratios. That might set Hammers back a little bit here.
I guess we'll see how it all plays out here in the next few minutes. 6 minutes in, 5-1. Hammers in advantage. Playboy Afro moving down to the shop. Crystal Infusion picked up for Archaic, so that's sitting in his pocket. He can just pop that if he wants to get on top of a target here. Archaic's gonna move in, look to contest the mid. And it's actually picked up by Hyde. Hyde was already in his Drifting Dark there, trying to get that mid taken down as quickly as possible. And this is a moment where Hammers are gonna we'll just drop down, we'll take the gold miner.
Yeah, and Koshka particularly should be pretty quick about taking this gold mine. The Aftershock procs take a lot of health out of that gold miner, as well as help her keep a little bit of energy management, which we know Koshka can struggle with at times. Gaspy playing it really safe, though, not wanting to get ganked by Hammers here. We see how far back he's playing.
Yeah, it's the smart play, too, especially if Starting's going to try and reposition you, and they have quite a bit of damage building up. Starting probably goes Tension Bow next item, but I'm really curious to see where he goes from there. We've seen the Glaives kind of pull up once they get 2 offensive items and build a bit of defense and go from there, but I assume Starting probably builds his 3rd offensive item, just knowing his playstyle.
Yeah, the very aggressive playstyle that we know Starting all over to have. He's in a little bit of an iffy spot here, though. Separated from the team, and it does look like Tempo's going to rotate down, but they do choose to go through their jungle instead.
Starting dips back, though. He sees Lost Boy. Lost Boy used the Sigil. Starting's like, no, I'm taking the mid. I don't even care about kills right now. He takes that, so he takes a bit of damage. He's able to heal up from taking that healing camp and get right back up into the lane. He's a happy starting all over.
Happy starting all over indeed, has completed the tension bow. I'll very likely be looking into him going on into that poison shiv as the next item, as we do have obviously the Lyra here for Tempo Storm. Still only about a 1.5k gold lead for Hammers despite taking the gold mine and being up a couple kills, so not a huge advantage going over to them. But so far looking good. Hyde, as he completes this broken myth though, is going to start to be an absolutely massive threat.
Hyde starting to get this damage coming together. Broken Myth, though, I think is such an important pickup for him on the Samuel. And we've seen a lot of Samuels actually not pick that up second item. Like, we'll see the Frostburn, the Eve, and a lot of times they fall short in the damage. But right there, Hyde engaged on, starting all over. Archaic closed the gap. There's the Yummy Cannon Frenzy, blocked off. Gaspy jump jets backwards. They will find the stun with the Ordained, but he gets back just far enough. And Lost Boy, with all that healing, keeps him alive. Hammer is able to spread that turret aggro out, and everybody quite low, but they don't lose a member. So a nice, very aggressive dive coming out of Hammers. They're able to pick up Hyde there.
They did pick up Hyde, but they didn't really get any damage down on turret. They committed so heavily to Gaspy. That could have been a half health turret there. Starting coming in though.
Yeah, dude, starting, trying to find the kill. Oh, Gaspy just jump jets right underneath his own feet and gets the double attack. Puts starting all over down. A nice play by Gaspy, a nice read.
Yeah, really good read there, and actually to look at Hyde's farm, we are a bit ahead on the Samuel, which is where you want to be. Archaic coming in aggressive.
Yeah, Archaic's going to find the kill on the Gaspy here. I mean, as soon as he moved in with those empowered attacks, you knew that he was going to find that kill. A nice block on the Oblivion, and Playboy Afro and Archaic will move forward. Archaic, the double kill. Exactly what he needed in this moment. And now they're going to move forward, try to get some damage out onto this turret. They're doing a good job here. Lost Boy doing his best to defend this turret by himself, and that's now starting all over, making his way back out into the lane with his teammates. I think they'll be able to take this down. Yeah, they got this easy.
Yeah, and that's a pretty good burst of gold there for them, now sitting up 3,000 gold. Definitely where they need to be. They need to keep Baron down as long as they can, starting looking to steal away a little bit of farm here.
And he does so successfully. Starting level 8, he was working with that level 7 infusion he had picked up earlier. Archaic was infused as well, so you can tell Hammers know that they want to apply that aggression and make it happen. They're as effective as possible and doing a good job. Starting all over with the Barbed Needle, so he's going in probably Poison Shiv, his third item, and then maybe we see like Aegis and some armor for him. Is that what you think?
Immense payout collected.
Yeah, we'll definitely probably see a Metal Jacket Aegis come out of him. Hyde does look to be committing into that Broken Myth, and that's really where Samuel's going to start to take off in these fights. If he can get a couple stacks built up before he uses Drifting Dark, then he can get a lot of really high burst splash damage down and really force Hammers back. They don't have a healer available, so if Hammers is forced out of a fight, there's a lot of siege potential that can come out of the side of Tempo Storm here.
Tempo Storm are on the back foot. The Hammers continue to move the map forward for themselves. I'd like to see a little bit more vision come down. Playboy Afro, we'll see if he can get that down soon here. He's just currently sitting on some flares, and he's building into that Echo right now. That'll be a huge pickup. He actually picks it up right now, starting all over, looking for Hyde. Archaic's there as well. Playboy Afro is pretty far behind. Ion Cannon from Gaspy kind of defensively placed. Playboy Afro is here, though. Ordained, the Oblivion comes out. Fearsome Shade number 1 flies. He has another one ready to go. Let's see if they're going to pull the trigger on this. Playboy Afro taking a bunch of damage. He's going to throw out his block, but then Fearsome Shade the other way. They jump right back in onto a Twilight Arcane Passage from Lost Boy just to distract and split the fight. Starting all over, should be going down at the end. Archaic went down right before that. The ace coming through. And, that felt like Tempo Storm were just kind of given a tasty little treat right there.
Yeah, Hammer stayed pretty deep and ended up losing out on that fight again. The splash damage particularly that come out of this Baron and Samuel has just been absolutely devastating when they can get it down properly, and channeling through the jungle was really the downfall of Hammers for that fight.
Oh, that's just something the Hammers are going to have to clean up. Now, they can engage aggressively. They can make it happen, but if they still have to calculate how much damage is going to come out, where they're taking the fight on the map. Poison Shiv picked up now for starting. This is a really great pickup for him. He'll be happy to have this. But they don't have boots right now either on Archaic or starting. I think that's another big tool because, like, yeah, you have your gap closing abilities, but if that's on cooldown, like, having your boots is super important to stay on a target.
Yeah, and that's actually something I wouldn't be surprised if we see out of starting this game is going into the journey boots. Getting the additional cooldown time every time you hit an enemy when those boots are on cooldown brings it down from that 50-second cooldown to a 12-second cooldown. And that's really what's going to give starting the ability to stick to a target. And with Baron able to jump out of the fight, he desperately needs those boots available to him.
Gaspy has a level 9 infusion timing out right now. He's got that minion's foot capability right now, Denominate. He will crit the first hero that he's gonna hit, so that's always a nice boost to have for yourself. Hammers, they take out the Crystal Sentry super fast, but this is like Tempo, they're trying to contest, starting over the wall. He looks to crit down onto Hyde, but Hyde gets back there. Fearsome Shade 1 coming out. They've lost Archaic, they trade Lost Boy. He's down as well. Tempo Storm finding the fight that they wanted there. And once again, this is Hammers playing into Tempo Storm's hand.
They are, but Afro makes a absolutely beautiful escape there. Hyde throws a couple Malice and Verdicts over the wall, can't find him. At least he did not give up the ace. If an ace had gone over to them, it very likely would have been Gaspy and Hyde rushing up to the lane, trying to push down a turret with the ace minions. Hammers still have a little bit of an advantage here. The poison chip is now complete for starting, but again, Baron's just been able to jump away as soon as starting comes in. We have to get a good stun here out of Archaic. I'd almost be willing to say that Afro needs to pick up a null wave gauntlet here and use it onto Baron just so he can't use that reflex block. Get the jump jets down, null wave Baron, finish off the kill after the Kashka Stone comes through. That's Hammer's win condition going into the late game.
I could see that. I could see that working out. I also feel like some War Treads would do really well for their team as well, as you look to just all move in onto and burst the target down. So you just have, as a team, just that move speed for everybody. Gold Miner, decent gold payout, gonna go the way of Hammers. We're about to have Kraken spawning out on the map. 9-7 in favor of Hammers. These next few minutes will definitely be important to this game. Hyde in the Drifting Dark, but not really connecting on anything. Archaic thinking about stealing away the mid as his teammates just kind of wait on the outside edges of these fights. Hammers moving forward. They're going to look for a target. Bright Bulwark is down. Playboy After with a bad mojo moving forward. Oblivion blocked off. Archaic and starting trying to get onto Gaspy, but Gaspy with a very nice jump jets to reposition and put himself in a nice safe place. Playboy Afro, what are you leaving yourself for dead? Why did you actually turn back there? That's crazy lost play with the Arcane Passage. And Hyde comes through. I think Malice caught him there for the kill. Now starting, he's right back into Gaspy. The aggressive play, maybe it was all in the plan, Denominate. It was all in the plan. Archaic chasing with the move speed. He's boosted up, has the damage, takes Hyde down. And Hammers, it looked like a fight that Hammers were about to lose, and they just turned it around.
I was actually convinced Tempo won that fight. One thing that went a little unnoticed there in that fight was Lost Boy Toph actually used a minion candy onto that Crystal Sentry, and it was doing a lot of damage. So the good jump from Gaspy over the wall gets him out safe. A very, very aggressive engagement from starting all over in Archaic. They jump back onto Gaspy, and now they look to start up this Kraken as Playboy Afro is rotating down now.
Okay, so this is contestable, but it looks like it should be Hammers here. Lost Boy could definitely steal this with a really sweet sigil, maybe. Okay, Fearsome Shade off the mark. Iron Cannon's gonna come through, but Hammers do grab it. Gaspy should see that Playboy Afro is low, but he's not playing games. He's like, yo, team, we're just starting applying damage onto this Kraken right now. Honestly, with how fast they're taking it down, it shouldn't do too much to them.
It shouldn't, unless if starting can get in here with Archaic and find some damage. He is forced out by a couple of those rockets, though, so definitely an interesting position here. They have to find a clean fight here if they want this Kraken to be worth anything. It's already down half health before it's made it to the turret.
Oh no, he finds Hyde. Hyde was trying to pour it back, starting all over, knocks him back and finds the kill, or Archaic gets the kill there. Oh. And a Yummy Catnip Frenzy onto Gaspy. Tempo Stormer crumbling, Denominate, no, they're melting. Hammers taking advantage of some misplays coming out there. Dude, that is the worst. When you're trying to pour it out, you're not looking, and you just get engaged on by a monster glaive.
The glaive, and yeah, especially Kashka jumping on over to help finish up that kill. we had mentioned that Hammers has to find a good fight if they want this Kraken to be worth it. That's already 2 turrets now and 2 kills as well. So I think they got what they needed out of that Kraken for it to be worth it very easily.
Yeah, that was very nice for them. Hammers, it feels like they're playing a little loose here, but still playing to their win conditions. Although fights that they lost where maybe they were a little too aggressive and not all on the same page, but you can see once they engage onto the same target together, they just burst them down. Gaspy, he's a threat, but he's a very squishy threat.
He's a very squishy threat, and I find myself saying this all the time when casting games with Koshka in it. If you do not block that Yummy Catnip Frenzy, you are practically dead to rights. Lyra or not, if you get stunned up for that 2.2 seconds, then that's just a lot of free damage that the enemy team is allowed to get down on you, and that's what we saw. They find Hyde, they find a clean kill onto Gaspy, and now only 2 turrets stand between Hammers and a Vayne, and this is going to be Temple Storm looking for a good fight. There are 3 turrets alive, but they have this Baron who we know can be such a massive threat.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like a massive threat this game, though. It's a threat. If you overextend and you allow him to apply damage, they can do work. Tempo, grouped up, they feel the pressure. Starting moving forward, Drifting Darks down, Bright Bulwark down as well. Fearsome Shade's gonna catch Lost Boy, a jump jet's back. Gaspy, he's finding the damage they've lost, starting all over. Gaspy, can he stay alive? Is Archaic there trying to find the damage? Archaic can't do it, Archaic's down as well. And now it's Lost Boy with an Arcane Passes. They're gonna try and sniff out Playboy Afro, but he's already gone. He already took the first plane home. And Tempo Storm, a massive win there, and you gotta wonder, I mean, are Hammers gonna slow down at all, be a little more methodical in these engagements?
They definitely need to pick cleaner fights, and Starting has actually gone into Halcyon Chargers now instead of going into the Journey Boots. Kraken is now back on the fold, and Tempo Storm is looking to start it up.
Well, they started it up indeed here. Samuel is like one of those heroes that is just not great at capturing the Kraken. Another thing Temple Storm don't realize, they will now that the Scout Trap's down, that there's a Scout Trap from Playboy over there, letting them know exactly what's happening. And, well, they'll secure the Kraken. It looks like Playboy was going to try and make a play there, but he kind of pulls off on that one. It's approximately 15-ish seconds until his Echo is ready to go, but for all intents and purposes, they have pretty much everything at their disposal if they look to fight here.
Yeah, they have everything pretty much up on both sides. Hammers is getting a lot of free damage down on this Kraken, though. I think realistically for Hammers, if they can find an ace here, they can probably just base race this Kraken out, especially as low as it's getting. Humanist, what do you think of Temple Storm giving all this damage up?
I think they're gonna lose. I think Hammers are about to whoop them here. Fearsome Shade catches all 3. Ordain's down. Playboy Afro eats a couple attacks from Gaspy. That's pretty serious damage. They're doing well. Kraken's down though, and they really don't get much out of it. Tempo's gonna try and stay and take this choke point turret down. It's a bold move. Starting all over, doesn't want to let this happen. Where is his team? Tempo, dude, Starting can't do anything without his teammates there to back him up, and he just sits there and cries a single tear as that turret goes down. That was hard to watch.
Archaic burned all of his energy taking down the Kraken, and Playboy Afro burned all of his health trying to frontline that damage coming out of Samuel. If they would have stayed, it would have either been a no damage Koshka or a no health Baptiste. And man, Hammers.
He did have a second Fearsome Shade though. Oblivion's gonna come out, blocked off. Gaspy taking damage. Yummy Cat Frenzy. I can't even say it. Locks him down. Archaic and Starting now. They turn their attention over to Lost Boy as Playboy Afro just kites him back. Lost Boy's gonna try and buy some time here with that Arcane Passage on Hyde. I think he's dipped out far enough where he shouldn't be caught. Actually, Hyde's gonna stick around. Hyde's gonna try and make the plays. Oh, Hyde, I don't know about this. You may immediately regret your decision. Archaic jumps in, procs the Aftershock, and yeah, he's got the damage. They're gonna find the kills they need. Starting finds the other kill, and that is an ace coming through for Hammers there.
Took him a long time to get that ace, though. Now Gaspy's up in 15 seconds, so they do not really have the time to end the game here unless if a miracle happens for them. Only a couple ace minions coming down the lane. They'll very likely look for one turret and then just find their way out. This is a little bit risky, though. If Hammers overstays, this could be Tempo coming back.
Yeah, I imagine that Hammers are just going to try to go for this, but Gatsby doing pretty good work. Guys, take the turret down. You got to take it as fast as you can. They're on to the Vein Crystal here. They're dropping like flies. Starting doesn't have his afterburn. He just did it over the Vein Crystal. He's going to fall, dude. They defended. They defended. Ooh, how much health is that? Triple kill. That's the ace. GG the other way. Good game, ladies and gentlemen. Tempo Storm.
That was an absolutely crazy game there, Humanist. And man, Tempo, like I said, if Hammers overstays, it's going to be risky. That Vayne living with just the tiniest sliver of health, starting all over one basic attack away from closing out the game. That is going to be Tempo picking up game number 2 and a point.
It should be.
It should be. It very well should be. This Baron, they have the Ace Wave, Hyde's full health, Gatsby's full health. This, I don't think Tempo can throw here. Can they?
It would be a beautiful thing. The Vein Crystal's dropping super low, and it'll go down. Gatsby gets the last hit onto that Vein Crystal there, and your Tempo Storm feels good, man. There were opportunities for Hammers to close that game out. It felt like, from my perspective.
I definitely didn't like the overstay there, but that is what it is.
Is what it is. All right, well, looks like we're going to take this to game 3, but man, Sweet J, Bacon, break this one down for us. Munchables, what happened there?